Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Don't Argue with Facts podcast. I'm your host, Noah Love, and today, July 8th, 2025, hope everybody had a good holiday weekend. We will be discussing mostly all NBA topics. Um, just found out Nikola Jokic is not going to sign an extension this offseason. He has 2 years left on his deal. I will tell you why he is not signing an extension. Uh, Historic 7-team NBA trade. Historic trade with 7 teams. We'll talk about that. That involves Kevin Durant. We will also be talking about the 3-team trade where Norman Powell goes to Miami for a box of chips. We'll talk about all of that here today. Let's get started. First, I want to start out with this historic 7-team NBA trade. This is NBA.com. Kevin Durant traded to Rockets as part of a historic 7-team deal. The largest trade in NBA history finally came together with centerpiece Kevin Durant joining the Rockets in exchange for Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and a slew of other assets with no fewer than 7 teams and 13 players involved. Rockets get Kevin Durant. They signed Clint Capella. That's now a sign-in trade. The Suns get a bunch. They get Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, Kamon Malawach, number 10 overall, Rasheer Fleming, number 31 overall, Kobe Bria, number 41 overall, Daquan Plowden, a 2026 second round pick, and a 2032 second round pick. So they get a lot of assets back. Then all the Nets get, it's a 2026 second round pick and a 2030 second round pick. The Warriors somehow get in this. They get Alex Tuhey, number 52 overall, and Jahmai Mashack, number 59 overall. The Hawks get David Roddy, a 2031 second round pick in cash. The Lakers get Adu Thero, number 36 overall, good in the draft, in cash. The Wolves get Roko Zikarsky, number 45 overall. A 2026 second round pick, a 2032 second round pick, and cash. Uh, this wow. Um, in terms of blockbuster names, it's not really that outside of Kevin Durant, but in terms of it being a 17 deal, love it. Like that, have no problem with it. It's just 17s. I don't know how the Warriors got really involved in that. I don't really. Yeah, I don't know how the war. My phone's ringing. I'm not answering it. I'm recording a pod. Anyways. Yeah. Don't really know. Some of these teams that got involved, I guess, were just trying to get picks in cash. That's the best guess. They were just trying to get picks in cash and all that. So yeah. 17 NBA trade. I like it. It also says here that the Rockets general manager, Raphael Stone, said, "We like the growth our team showed last season and believe Kevin's skill set will integrate seamlessly. The 17 involvement Durant trade tops the previous record 16 transaction last summer that most notably sent Klay Thompson to the Dallas Mavericks. And also there's a lot of cash being thrown around in this deal as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the 17 deal. There's not really much to say here. It's just a big time historic trade. It's the most teams ever involved in a trade. So yeah, that's basically what it is, and that's right. Our next story though is Paolo Banchero. Paolo Banchero signs a 5-year max extension with the Magic, worth up to $287 million. Banchero, the number 1 overall draft pick in 2022, is sticking around as Orlando's franchise player, obviously. The Orlando Magic and NBA All Star Paolo Banchero have agreed on a maximum contract extension that could be worth as much as 287 million over 5 seasons, according to ESPN's Sean Sharon. Yeah, this is coming from Yahoo Sports. The deal includes a player option. Paolo Banchero averaged 26 points on 45, 32, 73 shooting splits, 7.5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game this past season, leading the Magic to the first round of the playoffs where they lost to the defending champion Boston Celtics 4-1. Magic had a lot of players hurt in that series. Banchero averaged 29, 8, and 4 in that series, looking very much like the franchise player the Magic expected him to be when they drafted him #1 overall. An oblique injury this past season limited Banchero to fewer than 65 games. If he had played more, he would have been an All NBA player, which kept him from All NBA consideration. That also means he will have to wait until the All NBA teams are revealed next season to find out if he becomes eligible for a starting salary at 30% of the projected 171.1 million salary cap for the 2026-27 season. Right now, he is eligible for a max extension starting at 25% of that cap. Either way, the Magic have locked themselves into the maximum possible extensions for both Banchero and Franz Wagner, the foundation of what they believe can be a championship contender. After all, the Magic made their big win now moves during the NBA Finals, trading KCP, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, and the rights to 5 first-round draft picks to the Memphis Grizzlies for Desmond Bane, which I thought was a straight fleecing. Bane's shooting for the Grizzlies. Bane's shooting ability, 41% on 6.3 3-point attempts per game for his career, should open the floor for Banchero and Wagner. They desperately need shooting. Neither of whom has established himself as an elite shooter. They have the potential to become high-end pull-up shooters, which, if that ever happens, watch out for Orlando. Yeah, we know why Banchero, he's worth every penny of his contract. We know that my #1 thing for them is to get healthy. I have them as like the third best team in the East to start this upcoming off season. Uh, Obviously, if you make an All NBA team, you're eligible for more money. Uh, this year, I think he would have been All NBA if he wasn't hurt. So, yeah, there's that. He's been great. He's coming into year 4. Year 1, he was fantastic. Year 2, we makes him a playoff team, and he was fantastic in the series against Cleveland. And if Orlando could make some threes in Game 7, they probably win that. And also in this season, look, they would have been a top 4 or 5 seed, but injuries kind of derailed that. Uh, I think they would have been above a Milwaukee, so 5 at least. If they didn't get hurt, but obviously they did. Wasn't much you could do about it. But Paolo, he showed that he could be a franchise player, taking at least one game off the Celtics. We knew they didn't have a great chance in that series because of the injuries, but every game was pretty much close except for probably I say Game 1, and Paolo was great in pretty much every game in that series. They just didn't have enough. So yeah, Magic going all in. They're going all in. Now for our next story, let's talk about Norman Powell to the Heat. No, the Clippers, Jazz, and Heat agreed to a trade on Monday that sends Norman Powell to Miami, John Collins to LA, the Clippers, and Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 Clippers second-round pick to Utah. Powell, who is 32 years old, is coming off his best season in which he averaged a career-high 22 points and was an all-star candidate who started all 60 games he played in for the first time in his career. Miami is looking to rebound for a tumultuous season that included the Jimmy Butler trade to Golden State and ended with a first round sweep by Cleveland. Powell adds offensive firepower they needed and was a 42% shooter from behind the arc last season. The 6'4" guard is one of the league's hardest working players and should seamlessly fit into Miami's culture. He is extension eligible and is entering the final year of his deal at $20.4 million. So, before I go on and read the rest of this, obviously Norman Powell was great for the Clippers. Um, Obviously in the playoffs on the road he kind of struggled, but at home he was really good. Um, he makes Miami way better. And with a weak East this year, they can easily be a playoff team with him. I mean, you add that on to Davion Mitchell. Hopefully, he can improve. Obviously, Hero and Bam. Still have Haywood Highsmith, who I guess they love. So, look, we'll see. In terms of the Clippers, look, they get more athletic and younger with John Collins, but I they get younger athletic. I don't know if they get better, but we will see. Collins, 27, is the kind of athletic big. Wow, he's only 27. Wow. He seems much older. That's probably because he was in purgatory in Utah. Collins 27 is the kind of athletic big the Clippers have coveted in the past. The 6'9" forward averaged 19 points and 8.2 rebounds in 40 games for the Jazz last season, and is also entering the final year of his contract with 26.5 million due this coming season. Both Powell and Collins were unlikely to sign extensions with their respective teams, according to sources. Powell, okay, Clippers, kind, maybe wanted to be on a championship contender. I know that. Collins, yeah, he was gone. He didn't want to be a part of that, and Utah probably didn't want him to be a part of that either. Lawrence Frank, the Clippers' president of basketball operations, said the team had been targeting Collins for the past couple of years. He's in his prime, which he is, Frank said in a call with reporters on Monday. He's a power forward who can also play some small ball five. He's someone who brings great athleticism and has shown the ability to score at all three levels. He's a tremendous runner, roller, vertical threat. I think James Harden will be able to unlock certain parts of his game that can unlock our team. He can also help space the floor. Shot 40% from three this past year and will also help with our rebound. Frank said the Clippers want to remain nimble with cap flexibility if a young star comes available down the road while remaining as competitive as they can be for this season. He says it's constantly pushing in how we can be opportunistic and yet staying disciplined, Frank said. We are one of the two oldest teams in the league and we are going to overtime to have an infusion of younger talent, not to replace the guys we have, just to add to them. And you are able to do that through free agency, through the draft, and trades. So we did want to have flexibility going forward. Yet at the same time, we wanted to get better as a team. Although Powell was one of the league's best six men in his first 2+ seasons in Los Angeles, before thriving as a starter last season with Kawhi Leonard out for the first 2 months, the Clippers have been looking for more cap flexibility. Leonard has 2 years remaining on his contract, and the Clippers' moves this offseason have been aligned for future flexibility. They just agreed to a new 2-year, $81.5 million contract with James Harden. The second year of Harden's deal has a player option and is partially guaranteed. Sources told ESPN Los Angeles also signed center Brook Lopez to a 2-year, $18 million deal. With a team option for the second year of the contract, the Clippers can use another shooting guard or playmaking point guard and have $5.3 million non-tax mid-level left to use. In fact, Frank said that the Clippers still have to add shooting and playmaking. He said, "We're not done. We're not done. We ain't done yet." Okay. Utah has turned Collins' contract into an asset of a second-round pick, and it will also create a $26.6 million trade exception. The Jazz have traded Collins Sexton, second-round pick, to Charlotte for Jusuf Nurkic to complete a contract buyout of guard Jordan Clarkson this offseason. So yeah, That's pretty much it. Utah, they just wanted to get Collins off their books. Clippers just wanted to get Norman Powell off their books, and then and then the Jazz, yeah, Jazz wanted to do that. Also, they're getting younger. You see that front court, Laurie Kessler, Ace Bailey. Um, they want to go all in on that, and then for the Clippers, just to get a four, someone who's more athletic. Look, Batum was their starting four at times in the season. That's just not going to go well. Um, they've gotten older with an addition of Brook Lopez, but they've also gotten younger with John Collins. So Harden and Collins may be fun to watch. Maybe it may be fun to watch. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. Free agent Chris Paul addresses retirement, indicates 2025-2026 NBA season may be his last after 20-year career. Yes, Chris Paul may be retiring. Point guard Chris Paul is one of the most intriguing NBA free agents this cycle. While he's now 40 years old, he's a future Hall of Famer that played all 82 games last season for the Spurs and can still clearly contribute for a contender. Still, the question has to be asked, how long can Paul keep playing? And that's what he addressed during a recent interview with Jamel Hill at Fanatic Fest. He said at the most a year. Paul responded, I just finished my 20th season with it being a blessing in itself. It would appear Paul has officially announced that this will be his final NBA season. He's second in most NBA assists in most assists in NBA history. This is an interesting development since Paul told Ansgar Smart Spears just 2 months ago that I'm going to keep playing, I think. At the end of every season, I evaluate everything, Paul said. Evaluate playing, evaluate how my body feels. But the more the years that go by, it's more conversations with my family, with my kids. They have a lot of say-so. They got a lot of input. Of Obviously, I got a lot of homies, friends that have retired or whatnot, and they are always like, man, play as long as you possibly can. Play as long as you possibly can. And I appreciate that, but I also just always want to talk to my kids about it because that's the most important job that I have. I love to play. I definitely love my kids and my family more than I like to play. Anybody who's in this knows the sacrifice could go longer. I said this summer I will evaluate it and talk to my family about it. Paul is the third oldest player in the NBA behind LeBron James and PJ Tucker. The former number 4 overall pick of the New Orleans Hornets is a 12-time All-Star and one of just 2 players in NBA history to score 20,000 points and dish out 10,000 assists in a season. In his career, excuse me. Uh, the other being LeBron. Paul is a 5-time assist champ, 6-time steal champ, and ranks number 2 in both categories all time. His 12,499 assists just trailed John Stockton's 15,806 assists, and his 2,717 steals trailed Stockton's over 3,000 steals. Paul did average a career low 8.8 points per game while shooting 43% from the field, but the fact that he started in all 82 games was impressive. It was understood that 2025-2026 was likely Paul's swan song. Now it just remains to see who he will be playing. There have been rumors that he wants to stay close to home, so maybe the Clippers, maybe the Lakers, maybe the Suns. There could be a reunion there. So yeah, Chris Paul only wants to play one more year. Obviously, we don't know where that will be, but him and LeBron look like they're only going to play one more year, and so that will kind of be an end of an era. There, I think he could still help a championship team. Maybe he could play backup point guard for the Clippers. Look, you never know. Chris Paul, this is going to be, I guess, I'm not saying he's going on a retirement tour, but will probably be his swan song. And after 20 years, he's one of the greatest point guards of all time. Uh, he's done a lot for the game. So that's going to be here. We have one last story here. Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, this is from Bleacher Report, reportedly told the Nuggets he won't sign a contract extension this offseason. He has 2 more years. Nikola Jokic reportedly won't sign a contract extension with the Denver Nuggets this offseason, but that's not as troubling of a situation for the Western Conference team as it may seem. Bennett Donato of the Denver Post reported Tuesday the star big man told the Nuggets he will wait until next offseason to engage in contract talks. There is no urgency since he signed through the 2026-27 season was a player option for the 27-28 campaign. What more, he can earn approximately $80 million more by waiting until next offseason, even though he is eligible to sign a 3-year, $212 million extension. At this point, he's just trying to get more money. That's basically what Jokic is doing. Durando noted the Nuggets front office was expecting Jokic to wait until next offseason, so this comes as no surprise. With the star player not as much of a focus this offseason, Denver has been busy bolstering the depth around him. It added Jonas Valanciunas, Bruce Brown, and Tim Hardaway Jr. in addition to trade Michael Porter Jr. for Cameron Johnson. While the Nuggets pushed the eventual champion Oklahoma City Thunder to 7 games in the second round during the playoffs, the depth was an issue throughout last season. These moves have helped address those concerns and potentially put the team in a position to return to the NBA Finals. And that maximum extension will surely be waiting for Jokic when he's ready. After all, he is one of the best players in NBA history with a resume that includes 3 league MVPs, a championship, and an NBA Finals MVP. 7 All-NBA selections and 7 All-Star Game nods. He is a walking triple-double, a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses every time he steps on the floor, and he will still just be 31 years old next offseason. He may even have more leverage in the upcoming negotiations if he can lead Nuggets to a deep playoff run with another MVP campaign in 2025-26. Jokic has been a franchise cornerstone for Denver throughout the majority of his career, and the front office will likely do everything it can to keep it that way next offseason during those negotiations. So Nikola Jokic just wants to get more money. That's what this is. If I'm a Nuggets fan, as long as the season goes good next season, I'm not worried. He'll resign. It is what it is. All right. That has been an episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. I've been your host, Noah Love. And until next time, see ya.